Hey everyone, it's Justine the Twilight Stamper, and I wanted to make an exciting announcement that I'm starting a new series on the Misti stamping tool. If you haven't heard about this yet, you're missing out. It is a stamping tool, and Misti stands for the most incredible stamping tool invented. And I'll link below as to the different sites where this is available. Now, this is truly a godsend when it comes to a few different things with stamping. Now, first of all, this here can replace, generally for the most part, a stamp press, which is what I've been using pretty much most of the time in all of my videos, and it also replaces your standard blocks. I've always been sort of against blocks because you always need different sizes and things like that, and they can get costly and they take up a lot of space. So I had eventually replaced all of my blocks except for the 1x1. I still prefer when it's tiny stamp to stamp with a block with my stamp press. And now I found something that is a similar concept but can do a whole lot more. Let me give you a short little tour about the Misti. I don't want to go on too much about it since there's been a lot of videos on it and it's not really that necessary to do a big thing on it. It measures approximately 8 by 10 inches. It's not that big. It's very thin, so it does fit into your bag, no issues, or onto a shelf or anything like that. On a bookshelf it would work as well. And the way it works, pretty much, you can use this with cling stamps or clear stamps. You can't use it with wooden stamps, not really anyway, since those just kind of stamp by themselves and without any additional tools. But it comes with this sort of hinge. It's got a grid on it, and it's hinged, so it's quite secure in that sense. There were some manufacturing issues. I heard about this, but from my understanding, it's been cleared up. Comes with a foam pad. This is for stamping with clear stamps. You take it out to stamp with cling stamps. So I'm going to show you just a quick stamping tutorial on just using this, and then the next video I'll show you actually how to make a card with them. So to start off, we'll use a clear stamp. I'm going to be using the Bookworm stamp from Clearly Besotted, which is a really adorable stamp. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper here to show you how it works. So you can just put it into the corner of your stamp press each time. That's the easiest way, and I'll show you in future videos why you would put it elsewhere if that needs to be. And then what you can do is you can secure it with a magnet. You don't have to. It just makes things a little bit easier for when you're first picking up the stamp. And you're going to just look at where you want to stamp it. You put it down, put it in the place where you want to stamp it, excuse me. Give it a slight little push down. And I'm just going to adjust this and put that back in the corner. And now it's going to stamp exactly where you had put it before. Now I'm just going to stamp this up for you. And I'm not going to do a very good job at inking it, just to show you, because that does happen every once in a while where there's not enough ink on your stamp and it doesn't stamp very nicely. And that's the great thing about the Misti. I'm just going to use it without the magnet right now since it's not working very well for me. Is you can see it's not stamped very well. I'll kind of zoom in here so to show you there's lots of white spots, not nice at all. And what's great about the Misti is that I'm just going to ink it up one more time, this time properly. And because it's in the corner, it's going to stamp exactly where I had stamped it before. And now I have a great impression, and it's stamped exactly the way it's supposed to. Now the Misti comes with just the Misti itself. If you want the magnets or the grid pad, which I'll show you how to use that later on, those are separate. They're not expensive at all. They're just extra add-ons if you're interested. And I just wanted to show you exactly what that is. And so you can see here I had to restamp it because it didn't stamp properly. And that always happens to me when I'm making a card. It'll be on the last and final step of something. And then what happens? It doesn't stamp properly. And then I go in to try and restamp it with my clear block. And my hand slips or whatever. And that's what happens. Next up, I'm going to show you how to use cling stamps. So I'm going to remove that foam pad because the foam pad is already on your stamp. I'm using the butterfly stamp from So Susie Stamps. And I'm just going to, once again, pick it up using my stamp press, ink it up. I just used this today using some gelatos on it, so I hope it stamps all right. Got a little dirty. There we go. And this is a really fine stamp. It's meant to stamp like that. But if you did want it a little bit darker, you now have that option to do so. This would be an impossible stamp to line up. First, because it's a cling stamp, and second of all, because it's so fine. You would never get a perfect placement with just using your hands and eyeballing it. And now I can darken it up as much as I want and make it as less fine detailed or fine as I want, and more bold and darker. You can see I can go over it a few different times, and you can see now just how gorgeous that butterfly is. It was gorgeous the first time, it was gorgeous the third time. So that's really great about cling stamps. Alright, so now that I've showed you the general basic thing about the Misti, we're going to go on to the next video. You can click on it, I'll link to it over in the corner as well as in the description, and we're going to learn how to stamp with a background stamp. Thanks for watching.